Two people who built their fame in completely different ways. One was raised in front of cameras, inside a system where visibility is currency. The other became a global superstar by controlling his image, limiting access, and refusing to explain himself. When Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny were first seen together in February 2023, it looked like a typical celebrity headline. But the way the relationship unfolded, and the way it repeatedly paused and resumed, followed a pattern that was anything but typical. There were no official announcements, no public definition, no dramatic ending. And yet, every stage of the relationship played out in front of millions. Not through words, through timing, through movement, through absence. This is not the story of a breakup. This is the documented timeline of a relationship that operated on its own rules, and what those rules reveal. This is a factual reconstruction based on confirmed reporting, public appearances, and verified interviews. No rumor cycles, no anonymous narrative building, only what can be placed on a timeline, and what that timeline shows. Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny, the private relationship that played out in public. Real events, real context. If you value documented stories told with precision, subscribe. By 2023, Kendall Jenner had spent more than half her life on camera. But unlike the rest of her family, her public identity was built on distance. Fewer interviews, minimal personal disclosure, relationships that stayed largely offline. Her longest and most consistent public connection, Devin Booker, followed that exact model. Long duration, low exposure, no performance. That pattern matters because it tells us how she operates in relationships. By the time he met Kendall, Bad Bunny was one of the biggest artists in the world. Multiple record-breaking albums. The most streamed artist globally for consecutive years. And a very clear position on personal life. He does not explain it. In interviews, he repeatedly stated that his private relationships were not for public consumption. That is not branding. That is structure. So when these two people entered the same space, their relationship was always going to be shaped by one shared rule. Presence without explanation. The first confirmed moment was a group dinner in Los Angeles. Not a date. A social introduction through mutual friends. This is important because it shows the relationship began inside a controlled environment. Not a red carpet. Not a party. A private setting. Within days, both were seen leaving the same location separately. No photos together. This would become the signature pattern. Shared space. Separate exits. No verbal confirmation. March, April 2023. They begin appearing in the same cities. Dinner in Los Angeles. A horseback riding outing. Coachella. At Coachella, they were seen together multiple times, but never performing for cameras. No pose couple photos. No public display designed for headlines. This was not accidental. Both understand media mechanics. And both were choosing visibility without definition. The NBA playoffs. Courtside appearances are different. They're structured for broadcast. This is where the relationship became undeniable. Body language. Leaning in to speak. Sustained attention. Shared reactions to the game. These are the first moments where the connection is visible in real time, not through paparazzi still images. This is when the public narrative shifts from rumored to established. Summer 2023. This is the longest, uninterrupted phase of the relationship. Travel together. Time in New York. Time in Los Angeles. Integration into each other's friend groups. Sources describe it as growing more serious. But what actually defines this period is logistical alignment. They are in the same country, working on flexible schedules, available at the same time. For two global figures, this is rare, and it is the single most important factor in the stability of the relationship. The Gucci campaign. This is the closest they ever came to an official couple identity. Not through a statement, through a fashion campaign, a controlled environment, a scripted visual narrative of travel, partnership, and shared space. For two people who refuse verbal definition, this is the public peak. It tells us the relationship had reached maximum comfort inside their shared system of privacy. The first distance. After October 2023, the last major joint appearance, everything changes. Bad Bunny returns to an international touring schedule. Kendall remains primarily in the United States. The alignment disappears. This is where the timeline becomes quiet. And in this relationship, silence is not mystery. Silence is distance. December 2023, the split. The confirmation comes through multiple major outlets. The description is consistent across all of them. No conflict, no betrayal. They were in different places in their lives. That phrase appears repeatedly, and it reflects a structural reality. Two careers moving at different speeds in different locations. Early 2024, Kendall reconnects with Devin Booker. Bad Bunny continues global expansion, touring, campaigns, film projects. Both return to their default mode. Independence. There are no negative statements, no indirect messaging, which tells us the breakup followed the same rules as the relationship. Controlled, respectful, private. The reappearance. Met Gala afterparty. They are seen together again. This is not accidental. The Met Gala is the most photographed night in fashion. Choosing to be in the same room and to be seen is a decision. Soon after, Kendall attends his concert. Sources confirm they're spending time together again. The description. They missed each other. They needed space. This confirms the central pattern. The relationship does not end because of conflict. It pauses when their lives separate. The second distance. By late 2024, the same outcome. Not a dramatic ending. A return to independence. And again, friendly terms. What this relationship actually was. Not a traditional celebrity couple. Not a short-term fling. A high-intensity connection that existed only when geography aligned, schedules aligned, life phases aligned. Remove those, and the relationship paused. The media dynamic. This relationship generated global attention despite no interviews, no confirmation, no narrative from either person. That is extremely rare. It means the entire story was constructed from movement, timing, presence, absence, which turned the public into observers of a timeline instead of listeners to a statement. This was one of the few cross-industry relationships between an American fashion figure built in reality television and a Spanish-language global music icon who actively resists traditional celebrity structure. It represented different models of fame coexisting without merging. Neither changed their identity. Neither adjusted their communication style. Every stage follows the same sequence. Connection, alignment, public visibility, schedule separation, distance, reconnection. This is not instability. It is a relationship defined by logistics. So what happened? Not a dramatic breakup, not a hidden conflict. A relationship that existed in phases, determined entirely by two global careers moving on different timelines. It worked when their worlds overlapped. It paused when they didn't. And throughout the entire story, they remained consistent with who they were before they met. In an industry where relationships are often performed for the public, what does it mean when two of the most visible people in the world choose not to perform theirs at all? And was this a relationship that kept ending, or one that was never meant to follow a permanent structure? Subscribe for more real timelines, where the story is built from documented fact.